2003's Oldboy is a South Korean revenge film generally enjoyed by critics. It is also one of the most disturbing movies I have ever seen. Not because it's scary or overly gory, but because of its raw and brutal depictions of incest. This isn't homoerotic glances between siblings or whatever the fuck Ryan Murphy did in that one Menendez Brothers show. This is a graphic presentation of a man having sex with his daughter. Don't get me wrong, I'm fine with incest.
In the sense that...
Okay, let me rephrase that. I'm okay with incest.
In the sense that...
Okay, whatever. I'm just going with it. I'm okay with incest being shown in a movie as long as it isn't being romanticized and isn't too explicit. Now, does Oldboy fit these criteria? I should probably explain the plot before giving my verdict. The movie starts with Homeboy, aka Dae-soo, being an absentee father and getting bailed out of jail by his friend on the night of his daughter's 3rd birthday. His friend looks away for 1 second and Dae-soo disappears. I guess bro went to get the milk. He was actually kidnapped, but same difference. Dae-soo is then placed in a room and isolated from the rest of the world for 15 years. Every day, he is given fried dumplings through a slot in the door, and every night he is gassed to sleep and also hypnotized. During this time, he sort of goes ballistic from lack of human contact, as his only connection to the outside world is the TV in his room. Through the TV, he finds out that his wife was murdered, and due to his suspicious disappearance, he was blamed for the crime. Then, one morning after 15 years, Dae-soo wakes up to find that he is not in the room. He was let out. Dae-soo decides that he will enact his revenge on whoever did this to him and most importantly, get answers. After being handed a wallet and phone by some random man on the street, Dae-soo enters a sashimi restaurant desperate to eat something other than fried dumplings. He sits down at the counter and asks the chef to give him something alive. She brings out a live octopus and is like, bro, you sure you want to eat this? And then Dae-soo just grabs that octopus and starts chomping on that thing like he hasn't had a proper meal in 15 years. Which he hasn't, so... The chef touches his hand and asks, you good, bro? And then Dae-soo immediately passes out. He wakes up in the chef girl's apartment and we learn her name is Mido. Mido had found a journal on Dae-soo's body while he was unconscious that detailed his life for the past 15 years. So she knows his tea and agrees to help him find his captor. Thus, a game of cat and mouse ensues. While following the breadcrumbs left by Dae-soo's captor, Dae-soo and Mido kind of fall in love and eventually get freaky. A bunch of shit happens and Dae-soo finds out that the guy who kidnapped him is named Lee-woo. After a heated phone conversation, Dae-soo learns that Lee-woo kidnapped him because he blames Dae-soo for his sister's death. It turns out that Dae-soo went to high school with Lee-woo's sister, but he has absolutely zero recollection of who this girl was. All he knows is the info his friend gave him, the same one who bailed him out of jail, which is as follows. Lee-woo's sister killed herself in high school because of malicious rumors surrounding her. Dae-soo takes a walk down memory lane by visiting his old high school, and that's when he recalls his connection to Lee-woo's sister. Dae-soo had once witnessed some guy sucking on Lee-woo's sister's nipple in a classroom after school. Dae-soo told his friend, who then told the whole school, and a rumor started that she was a slut. Well, it turns out that the guy sucking on Lee-woo's sister's nipple was Lee-woo himself. And he and his sister were in love, romantically and sexually. Lee-woo's sister decided to kill herself because of the rumors and also the fact that she was pregnant with her brother's child. It wasn't a real pregnancy, it was a phantom pregnancy, but she didn't know that. Despite all of this, Lee-woo blamed his sister's death solely on Dae-soo. Back to the present times, Dae-soo goes to Lee-woo's penthouse to confront him. Side note, I have no idea how Lee-woo became so rich. Also, the interior design of his penthouse is absolutely atrocious. He has a glass shower in the middle of the room. Like, bathrooms exist for a reason, bro. This also means he's always walking butt-ass naked in front of his legion of bodyguards. Anyways, Dae-soo goes to Lee-woo's penthouse, and this is where Lee-woo reveals everything. Lee-woo hands Dae-soo a box containing photos. Dae-soo opens it to find a photo of his then 3-year-old daughter after he was kidnapped. He goes through photo after photo of his daughter, watching her grow up until, oh shit, his daughter is Mido. He had sex with his own daughter. So here's an explanation of Lee-woo's full revenge plan. He kidnapped Dae-soo, and while Dae-soo was held captive, Lee-woo killed his wife so that his daughter was adopted. Remember how Daesu was hypnotized every night while in captivity? Well, Liwoo also sent the hypnotist to his daughter. They were both hypnotized to fall in love with each other upon meeting again. So then, after 15 years, when Mido is 18, Liwoo releases Daesu and he meets and falls in love with his daughter without knowing it. I don't know if the incest of it all was necessary to this plan. Maybe Liwoo did it because he was like, you think I'm sick for fucking my sister? Let's see who's laughing after you do it to your daughter. Or Liwoo just wanted to make Daesu feel an enormous amount of pain and this was the worst thing he could come up with. That's probably it. When Daesu finds out Mido is his daughter, he goes absolutely feral. He is ashamed and disgusted with himself and he begs Liwoo not to tell Mido the truth. He couldn't bear the pain it would cause her. Daesu tells Liwoo he will do anything for her not to know. He says he will become Liwoo's dog and gets on the floor and starts barking. He kneels before him and he licks his shoes. All the while, Liwoo is just standing there trying not to laugh. Daesu then grabs a pair of scissors and cuts off his own tongue. I don't know why he thought this would accomplish anything, as it had already been established that Liwoo is unimaginably evil, but okay. To be fair, Liwoo says the reason why he did everything to Daesu is because he talks too much, so I guess it makes sense. It does work because Liwoo doesn't end up telling Mido. He just leaves Daesu in his penthouse. Well, not before pressing play on this audio recording of Daesu and Mido having sex, just to really put the nail in the coffin. Liwoo then sends himself to his own coffin by shooting himself in the head, as with his revenge plan complete, he no longer has anything to live for. The film ends with Daesu going to the hypnotist in hopes that she can make him forget that Mido is his daughter. The last shot of the film is of him and Mido hugging. She says she loves him, and he gives this very strange smile. In the end, it is left ambiguous whether the hypnotism worked or not. I think the general consensus, in my own opinion after watching the film, is that the hypnotism didn't work. I gotta say that this film was directed really well. There's some really cool and creative shots, and also some of the humor did hit. But that's not what this video is about. Does Oldboy fit the incest criteria? Number 1, is the incest romanticized? No. It's quite clear that the characters see incest to be morally wrong. Even the romantic relationship between Liwoo and his sister is not presented as something desirable, and it ends in tragedy. What happened between Daesu and Mido was meant to cause pain, and that it did. I can guarantee that Daesu will spend the rest of his life disgusted with himself. Now, criteria number 2. Was the incest overly explicit? I mean, yeah. The scene between Daesu and Mido was pretty graphic and went on for quite a while. I watched this movie with a friend, which made my experience of viewing the scene incredibly awkward. But I think this scene is excusable because it is relevant to the plot, and us watching what happens in detail made the reveal all the more painful and disgusting. On the other hand, I do not believe the scene of Liwoo sucking on his sister's boob had to be so detailed. Like, the scene was shot in 4K Ultra HD quality zoomed into the max. Which doesn't even make sense in context because we are supposed to be watching this through Daesu's eyes. Maybe bro has superhuman vision or something. I don't know. To me, it kind of felt like the camera itself was being perverse. But again, maybe that was to reflect Daesu, the voyeur himself, being a pervert. Don't get me wrong, I have no problem with sex scenes or nudity in movies. I just worry that incestuous scenes will give the incest freaks gooning material and could perhaps even contribute to incest becoming less stigmatized. There were also some other instances of nudity in this movie that I felt were sort of strange and unnecessary. For instance, a scene where Mido was being held captive with her arms bound over her head and her boobs exposed. I believe this scene could have had the exact same effect if Mido was wearing a bra, and I couldn't help but have an uneasy feeling while watching it, as if I was witnessing some kind of fucked up sexual fantasy, even if this was not the scene's intent. I believe this boils down to a point my friend made after we watched the movie. She said, that was made by a man. And it was. This movie also came out in 2003, a time where it was common to exploit women's bodies in film. To be fair, Liwoo's ass was also shown unnecessarily a couple times in this movie, but in those scenes, he's walking around naked after just taking a shower, which, mind you, is in the middle of his penthouse, and it's almost sort of a power move. Like, your presence means so little to me that I will walk around naked in front of you. Or, low-key, he might just have been trying to show off his tramp stamp that he got. Whereas in the case where the women's bodies are exposed, they are being dominated by men. Their clothes were taken off them by men. And in Mito's case, she was bound and assaulted by men. All this to say, Oldboy is certainly a product of its time and contains some scenes that are likely to make female viewers feel uncomfortable. Even besides the incest stuff. I think I'm going to leave it at that because this video is absent of a thesis. I'm sorry to all the film bros I inevitably pissed off through the making of this video, and most of all, I'm sorry to my friend who I forced into watching this movie with me. I didn't know.